I'm going to say something that most real estate marketing experts would completely disagree with. And it's that the best marketing for a real estate agent is a piece of paper, a stamp, and a pen. It's not Instagram Reels, it's not your Zillow profile, it's not an email drip campaign or any sort of social media ads. And by the end of this video, you won't just believe me, you'll have the psychology, the science, and the real world stats to back it up so you'll know it's true too. So let's get into it. I want you to close your eyes for a second. Think about the last time you went to your mailbox and you saw an envelope with your name on it, handwritten, a nice little stamp in the corner. Think about the way that it felt, the weight that it had to it. Even when you're pulling out bills and postcards and random flyers and marketing materials from other companies, think about the feeling that you had, the excitement of knowing that someone thought of you. And I'm not talking about that printed, handwritten font. I'm talking about with a real pen. Knowing that someone thought of you. And in that moment, you felt special. In that moment, you weren't thinking about checking your Instagram, checking your Facebook, thinking about emails. In that moment, you're truly just focused on one thing. You're opening up the card, you're looking through it, and nothing else in that moment mattered. And that is the feeling that your past clients are about to have month after month, seeing their name on that envelope while they're at their mailbox. And here's something that most marketing experts, gurus, and coaches won't tell you because it doesn't help them sell their next course. Social media is great for finding new people, but it is absolutely terrible for staying in touch with people who you've already worked with or you already have a relationship with. And if you think about it, the algorithms are changing more and more to what they call a content-based algorithm, meaning the amount of followers you have doesn't matter nearly as much because most of them aren't even going to see what you're posting anyways. The algorithm is only pushing stuff based on the content. And I'm sure you've experienced it. You post something and you get 1 or 2 likes, 2% of your followers actually see it. So if you're actually wanting to build a relationship with anyone, it seems like a really tough way to do it. And if we think about email, a really good email campaign is only getting about a 25 to 30% open rate. You're competing against hundreds of messages every single day coming into someone's email inbox that gets deleted, sometimes goes to spam before they even see it. And there's just endless amounts of competition in there. But luckily for us, there is a better way. So this is where it gets really interesting. And I really want you to hear this because this is why handwritten notes and handwritten cards work at a level that most agents never even think about. Researchers at Norwegian University Science and Technology put EEG machines on people's brains, the things that measure brain activity in your brain waves. And they had them look at a typed note and a handwritten one. And what they found was amazing. What they found is that when someone was reading a handwritten note with a real pen, that it lit up way more brain activity throughout all areas of their brain. What that means is these people saw this as deeply personal communication rather than just marketing. Your clients' brains are literally wired to see this as more valuable and more personal than any other sort of message or medium that is out there. Another amazing study comes from Dr. Robert Cialdini, who is probably the most cited psychologist and researcher on influence in the world in our history. And what he did is he wanted to measure the response rates on surveys in 3 different ways: a typed letter, a handwritten one, and a handwritten one with a Post-it note on it. And the results were staggering. The typed letter got a 36% response rate from it. The handwritten one, 45%. And the handwritten one with a Post-it note on it, a whopping 75% of people responded to the letter. And what's the reason for this? Reciprocity. When people perceive that you put effort into doing something, they feel obligated and the desire to want to give something back in return. It's one of the oldest psychological drives that we have as humans. And lastly, the study that gets me every time is fMRI images of the brain show that physical mail lights up the brain way more than any digital message. When people get a handwritten card, they keep it. They put it on their fridge. They store it in their desk. It gets remembered. And I don't know about you, but I've never put an email on my fridge before. So let's put that into practice and show you exactly what I mean. Imagine that you send an email out to 100 people, and judging by past stats and typical response rates, about 25% of the people who receive it will open it. Of that, about 3 of them will get past the subject line, and generally, less than 1% will actually do anything or reply, because it looks like every other email that they've gotten that day. And now imagine we send those same 100 people a handwritten card. These handwritten cards get a 99% open rate. And when people are going through them, they perceive the value in it. They see you put some effort in, they feel something. It stands out from the rest of the mail, the rest of the digital messages that they're getting on a day-to-day basis. And because of that, some of them start texting you. Some of them call you, thank you for it. Some of them are even putting it on their fridge because they can't even remember the last time they got a handwritten note. And here's the multiplier that no one's talking about. A referred client is 4 times as likely to work with you as someone who wasn't referred to you. So you're not just getting more leads, you're getting higher quality ones. Someone that already knows and trusts you, so you don't have to try to convince them why you're the best or why they should work with you. And if those numbers aren't convincing enough, let's dive into the math a little bit more. Imagine that we have a conservative group of 40 people. And if we can get each one of those people to send us 1 referral or 1 deal every 4 years, that's 10 deals a year. If we multiply that by your average commission, say it's $8,000, we're looking at $80,000 a year just from us staying in touch with this small group of people. Imagine if we bump this group up to 100 people. And same scenario, if we can get them to send us just 1 deal every 4 years, which is completely doable, that alone is 25 deals a year. If we pencil that math out, 25 times 8,000, you're no longer waking up in the morning worrying about where your next deal is coming from. And all of that just came from 100 people and handwritten cards. And that's why when I figured this out, I completely stopped chasing cold leads and made this my only strategy that I was using. And I want to tell you how this actually started, because it didn't start out as a brilliant strategy for me. It started as a desperate one. I talked briefly before about knowing what it felt like to wake up in the morning and not know where my next deal was coming from. When I started sending about 34 cards a month just to test it out, because I wasn't even sure if this would be something that would work. But as I kept going, something surprising happened. These past clients and friends started calling me, started texting me, sent me a picture of my card on their fridge. And sure enough, these conversations started out with, hey, thank you so much for sending this to me. I really appreciate you thinking of me. I love this. Keep them coming. I look forward to them every month. And the tagline of the conversation always would have something like, hey, just so you know, my brother is thinking about selling his house in the coming months. You should talk to him. Or I'm getting married later this year. We need to sell 2 houses and buy 1. And I started noticing that every one of these conversations just opened up the line of communication for us to talk about real estate more, which in turn led to me doing significantly more deals. Within 6 months, my repeats and referrals were up by 28%. By the end of the first year, they were up 45%. And in 18 months, my repeat and referral deals increased by 57%. I doubled my income year over year just because I kept sending handwritten cards. By the end of that first year, I was sending cards out to about 87 people, and my goal was, I'm just going to keep building this list because I saw how well it was working. I stopped paying my $3,000 a month Zillow bill. I stopped running my Facebook ads, and I stopped really worrying about posting on social media too. I finally had that room to breathe, to really start living my life and focusing on taking care of myself, getting more sleep, not having to be reactive on a daily basis. And by the end of that first year, this strategy was the only one that I was using for my business. And the thing about handwritten cards that no one talks about is everyone's screaming for more attention in the digital world, but the people that are showing up in someone's mailbox with a handwritten card and a stamp are really standing out. They're giving people an emotional experience that they can truly connect with, and your clients aren't saying, this is just another piece of marketing. They just want another deal. They feel like you actually care about them. And that's becoming more and more rare in today's day and age. And if you know anything about sales, the number one rule is that people buy off of emotion and justify it with logic. And if we're not appealing to someone's emotion first, we're dead before we even start. We're never going to generate any referrals from it. And here's a question I get all the time. People always say, well, this sounds great, but I don't have time to write 100, 250 handwritten cards every month. And super valid point. I went through it. I've had the hand cramps. And in the next module, I'm going to teach you about who should we actually be writing these cards to, and how do you make a network and a sphere that generates the most amount of referrals, because it's not only what we send and what we say that is important, but if we're sending it to the wrong group, it's not going to matter. So in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to curate that group and who's going to be the highest performing people in this. But I just want to plant a seed right now. By the end of this course, you'll see that the actual handwriting part, the hardest part, doesn't have to be completely on you. But more on that later. For right now, let's get on to building your list. See you in the next video.